Hello,
Hello.
Michelle.
Hello, Barack. Good night. How are you?
I'm good. How about
Okay.
you?
I am very well. I'm very well. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Uh, yes, I can hear you.
And can you see me okay?
Last week I was very busy. So that
Uh,
time I met my friend from Canada, and
nice.
yes, he went to Vietnam,
You mean
and
he came to Vietnam? He came to
yes,
Vietnam.
he came to Vietnam,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I had some beer with him. Yes.
Okay, nice.
Although he is 68 years old, the
Wow.
same the age of my father. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So is he visiting? I mean, is he like on vacation or is he on business? Was it business travel?
Uh, he uh, he uh, he went came to Hội An for tourists Vietnam.
Mm.
I met him 2 years ago on online when he helped me some English. Yeah.
Ah,
So
okay.
after when he came to Vietnam, before he came to Vietnam, he messaged to me, and we have appointment. We will have appointment and drink
Mm.
together.
Okay, nice,
Very,
nice.
very fun. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you, Barack. Thank you. Well, it's good to see you this week, okay? Thank you, Barack. Thank you.
Vào
Uh,
lúc Barack.
I just want to welcome the
Okay.
others, Han and
Yes,
Royale. Good night.
yeah, yeah. Good morning, Michelle.
Good night, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Are you
Yes,
okay? Is everyone okay?
yes, I'm okay.
I'm
Okay,
okay.
Royale.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice. I haven't seen Tunsang. Is Tunsang going to be joining us, guys? Has anyone heard from Tunsang?
Maybe Tumson busy for his work.
Okay, okay. Maybe he's busy tonight. Okay, no problem. All right. Well, maybe we can start and if he joins later, that's fine. So good to see you all again. Barack was just, telling me about last week. He had a visitor, so he couldn't join. So it's good to see you all. Okay. So thank you. So tonight, lady and gentlemen, we are going to be looking at what we call freedom of speech. We all say a lot of things, but for some people, it's not so easy. They can't say what they actually feel. They are unable to speak. They are unable to vocalize. So we're going to look at this a little bit tonight. So, Han, what is
Yeah.
freedom of speech?
Uh, the mean uh, the meaning of freedom of speech mean is the right to speak, right and share idea uh, and opinion without facing punishment from the government. It also include the right to know, right to seek, receive and share information through media. Yeah,
Media.
Okay, media. Okay, thank you,
media.
Han. Thank you. So Han says freedom of speech. It's the right to express ourselves without, I think Han said, without interference from the government. Correct, Han?
Without facing punishment from government.
Without facing punishment.
Yeah.
So instead of saying without facing punishment, you can just say without being punished, you know? So it's the right to speak without being punished by the government. It's the right to express ourselves, right?
Can you,
Okay.
Can you write down?
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Han. So Han is correct. It's the right to have an opinion and to receive and to express information and ideas, as Han said, without punishment by the government. Okay? Or without punishment by the relevant authorities. So that's freedom of speech. It's the right to express our opinions and our ideas without fear of punishment or legal actions. Okay? So thank you, Han. Thank you. So in Vietnam, do people in Vietnam have freedom of speech? Royal, how is it in Vietnam?
Yes, I think in Vietnam, people freedom of speech. Yes, but I think that's limit. Yeah.
So you're
Limit.
saying, Royal, that
Limit.
people, they have limits, right? They have limits.
Yes.
Okay. When you say they have limits, would you care to expand a little? What exactly do you mean when you say that there are limits?
Like when we freedom of speech, we don't speak to against the government. Yeah.
So speak against the government.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
are not allowed to speak against the government. Wow.
And
Okay.
and ask about information to information to the người to the us and share bad information of us people.
You are not allowed to share bad information about
us
advertisement.
Advertisement.
Yeah.
So let me help you with the word, Royal. It's advertisement.
Advertisement.
Yes, or for short, you can say ads. So many people, they have problems with this word because it's such a long word. So you can say ads for short, okay?
Yes.
Only Barack can.
So that's a very easy word, guys, to remember. It's ads, okay? So Royale is saying that you are not allowed to spread, you are not allowed to say, you are not allowed to give wrong information. You are not allowed to give false information, meaning there's a phrase, false advertising. So you are not allowed to advertise things falsely or incorrectly. Is that what you're saying, Royal? You are not allowed to advertise things, or you are not allowed to give information falsely.
Yes, I think that it might be, but I mean we don't we don't ask the bad information of nghề sĩ là đọc sao anh Khai?
Artist.
Yes, assist people.
Assist people.
Artist.
Yeah.
Artist.
Artist.
Yeah.
I don't
Can
think I understand, Barack.
Can I
Yes.
explain?
Yes.
Can I explain for Royal? Ý của cô đó hỏi thế này, tức là giống như kiểu ở Việt Nam á, cấm tất cả sai hết hay là chỉ có cấm sai những cái bị sai á, đúng không?
Cái này khó nói.
Không giống này.
Hiểu rồi nhưng mà giờ khó. Các anh Kha nói cho cô hiểu.
Royal understand what you asked, but some new words and Royal can communicate with you, and I can
Okay.
answer?
So okay, Royal. So Royal, I'm gonna ask Barack to answer the question, and then I'll come back to you with another question. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, it's okay, Royal. So there are some new words that I've given you, some new vocabulary. So it's okay. We'll get a chance to practice those new words at another time. Okay? So I'm gonna come back to you. So Barack, I was asking you, how is freedom of speech in Vietnam?
Yes, as you know, the develop of social media in Vietnam now very increased this day, like Facebook and a
Yes.
lot of apps that make people can post something wrong and something right. But if you share about information of another people post on Facebook, like if you share false information, you can find by government, and if something right, that is legal. Yeah.
Okay, so Barack is saying that the use of social media has increased in Vietnam, just like in many other countries, right, Barack?
Yes.
So the usage of social media has increased. However, in Vietnam, if you share false, so I made some notes in the chat, guys, for you to follow. So if you share false information about another person, if you share information that you know it is not true, you know that it is false, you know that it's a lie, if you share false information about another person, you can be fined, right?
Yes.
Okay. Does everyone understand? Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have what is called false information. False information, meaning you know that the information is wrong. You know that it is not true. However, you still share it on Facebook with your friends, right? So when you do things like that, you can be fined, you can be punished, you can face what is called legal actions, meaning that you can be sued in a court of law. All right, so you can be fined by the government, you can be sued by the person, you can be fined, you can be sued, you can also have legal actions against you, meaning the person takes you to court. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Tunsung. Thank you for joining, Tunsung.
Michelle, I'm in my workplace, so it's hard for me to talk with everyone.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, thank you for joining Song. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So we'll continue. So, Royale, I'm coming back to Royale. So, Royale, now that you understand freedom of speech and some of the things that you are not allowed to do, question 2, how does freedom of speech, how does it improve society? How does it improve the lives of Vietnamese people?
That's freedom of speech is important social society because that allow people to voice their opinion or honest information about how they think about society, about many issues in life. So
Society.
the government society. Yeah. So the government will take note and change it in a positive direction. Yes, I think that, and in Vietnam, I think that that's very important because in now the English to the and now the media very are very popular and the internet are very popular and many people they can share about many things and share about many opinion over there.
Okay.
Yes, and good a lot of good information they share.
Okay.
Yes, so and lions that help many people children they can search good information to learn and to practice in the internet. And people and men and everyone can search good information and communicate with everyone in everywhere. Yes. They can don't miss in the fact. Yeah. That's very important, I think.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Royale. So Royale says that information, freedom of speech, it helps to improve the Vietnamese society. You know, many people, they now have access to the internet. They can share their opinions. You know, they can talk about what is happening in society. And based on this response, the government, they can know how people feel and they can make the necessary changes. Right, Roya?
Yes.
Yes. So when we talk about the things that the government is doing, when we talk about the things that we are happy about, the government, they can take note of this and they can, you know, try to make improvements in the society. And with the sharing of information, you mentioned, Roya, that children are now able to access information from the internet, right? Which helps them in learning. It helps them to develop and to get lots of useful information for school, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Royal. Thank you. Good job. Tunsong, I know Tunsong is busy at work. Tunsong? Yes. So Tunsong, we've been talking about freedom of speech. We're now at question 3. Do you think there should be limits on, you know, on what we are free to say?
Yeah. In my opinion, freedom of speech is not recognized as a right, as not an absolute right. Absolute right. It should be limited. Yeah, it should be limited or controlled by the law to protect our honor, personality, or public culture, etc. And yes, and we can free to talk about the good thing, so we can free to talk about the bad thing as well. So it have to be limited.
Okay, okay. So you think it should be limited. Another word, you think it should be censored, meaning control.
Yeah, censor.
Yes. So Tunsong is saying, guys, that he thinks freedom of speech, he thinks it should be limited. Another word we can use is censored. Can you give example, Tunsong, some of the countries where, freedom of speech is censored? Name one country.
So can you repeat your question?
Yes. So you just mentioned that you think freedom of speech, it's not 100% freedom of speech. You think that some things should be limited, some things we should not be allowed to talk about. So my question was, there's a popular country that comes to mind where you are not free 100% to speak. Do you know that country?
Yeah, I think it's China.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So China practices, China does not have freedom of speech, as many of us know, Yes.
Yes, and they control their population life. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So China has a lot of what we call censorship. They are not able to access social media sites like Facebook, Twitter. They are not able to access those social media sites. So they are not aware of what is happening in many parts of the world. So I have students in Japan, and although in Japan, the situation it's a little different, many of the times they do not see the international news because the media censors the material, meaning the government authorizes the media to only show certain positive news. So, for example, if there is a shooting, if there is a killing, in another country, when I talk to the students in Japan, they are not aware of what is happening because on their televisions, those images, those things are not shown on the TV. So, China, it's heavily censored. You are not able to use a lot of the social media sites, etc. And in many other Asian countries, for example, in Japan, which I'm very familiar with, because I teach at a school in Japan, many of the students, when you speak to them, they are not aware of what is happening in other parts of the world because the information that they see is censored. The government controls the images that are on the television. So they do not know what is happening a lot of the times. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tunsang. Thank you. Good job. So Han has been very quiet. Are you okay, Han?
Yes, I'm okay. I'm listening you ask.
Okay, so Han, how important is freedom of the press? What do you think about freedom of the press in Vietnam?
Yes, I think it's important freedom freedom of express in Vietnam because freedom of the press to provide the general public with full and clear view of what happening about government, local politics, etc. To citizen know about that, and freedom of the press also allow the community to discuss matter necessary for the government. So I think it's important with citizen.
Okay, so you are saying, Han, freedom of the press is important because it allows the citizens to know what is happening in the country, right?
Yes,
and
right.
the press, they show not only the good things, but are they also allowed to show the negative, the bad things?
Negative. The negative information, but sometimes have the press have bad information about government, but I think it's it also necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, until it's have bad and positive and negative information.
Okay. So you're saying, Han, that the media, the press, they share both positive and negative information about events. They share both positive and negative information about the government. And you think that it's okay. You think that this is good. It shows that the press is balanced, right? They give a balanced report.
Yeah, and I think press also allow the community to discuss master for the government.
Okay. So the press is allowed to discuss matters that the government is working on. The press is able to highlight those information to the public, right?
Yes, right.
Okay. Thank you, Han. Thank you. Barack. So Barack, some countries, they forbid, for example, teachers from introducing certain subjects like homosexuality. Homosexuality, it's a very what we call taboo subject, meaning it's not something that a lot of people want to publicly talk about. So we say that, it's taboo.
It's taboo.
Yeah. So let me type it for you. It's taboo, meaning it's not something taboo.
It's taboo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
So
tattoo.
Taboo.
no, not tattoo. This is taboo.
Not tattoo.
Yeah. So when something is taboo, we don't want to talk about it. We feel embarrassed, or it may be forbidden. So we don't necessarily discuss it in public. So homosexuality is one of those topics, So what do you think, Barack? Do you think that this is stopping free speech? What do you think? Barack? Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. I suddenly I have a coworker told me, and I answer now.
Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of topic that it that it is that it isn't stopping free speech. Because while like some countries forbid school teachers from introducing subjects like homosexuality in their classes, while on the job teachers should not expect to be able to talk about anything they want to. This is not an abridgment of freedom of speech. Yeah, it's maybe it's called being an employee who represents your employer. Yeah, and because every communication from teacher to a student, this can have a positive or negative effect very quickly, depending on the information the teacher says. You know, this sensitive topic should also not to be talked about too much, which makes many people dislike or has a negative impact on students. I think maybe not too good if the teacher say all the thing about homosexuality. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Barak. Thank you. So in other words, Barak, you are saying topics such as these, you don't think it's appropriate to be discussed in school with young students, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The young student, yeah.
Yeah, so in other words, it's what we call inappropriate. So we're learning lots of new vocabulary tonight, guys. So it's what we call inappropriate. Inappropriate means that something it's not appropriate. So it's the opposite, right? So it's inappropriate to discuss certain matters like homosexuality with students. You know, and also, Barak, I guess it depends on the age of the students. If the students are very young, then certainly it is inappropriate. But maybe if the students are a little bit older, a little bit mature, then you can have maybe a general discussion. You know, you won't get very detailed, but just a general discussion about the subject. But again, I agree with you, Barak. I think that, you know, this material, it's inappropriate to discuss in the classroom with children, regardless of the age groups. You know, I think this is a topic for parents to discuss with their individual children, not for teachers to have this discussion in a classroom. So yes, like Tun Song said, I think certain topics, certain information, it should be restricted. I don't think we should have 100% freedom of speech because, you know, there is a danger in that. So I really think that certain topics, certain information, that it should be restricted. It should be censored, as we learned that new word tonight. So I think that homosexuality is one of those subject matters that should be censored, especially at school. Okay?
Yes, and I think students very young to hear something about teacher about homosexuality. I think the age maybe more than 30, like Hun and Royal and me, not Tung Sơn.
Royal and I. Okay.
I'm still younger. I'm still young, Barak.
And Tung Sơn very young. So not enough the age of the knowledge about homosexuality.
Now I'm just 20 years old, bro.
Okay, guys, okay. So Royale, Royale, maybe I should ask you the same question, Royale. What do you think about, teachers discussing taboo subjects in their classes? Do you think that this is stopping freedom of speech?
Yes, Michelle, I think that's a partly true, and depend on the law of each country. Because if we introducing about homosexuality sexuality in the class, and if it's don't violate the limits of the freedom of speech, we won't break the law. That and I think a lot of country they had the limited of freedom of speech, and if we speak about we speak don't violate the limits.
Violate.
Yes. And we can break up the law. That yes, I think
law là lâu đó.
law, yeah.
Law. Hello.
I don't want to interrupt, Royale. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Royale. Thank you. So Royale is saying that there should be limits as well, right, Royale?
Yeah, we can talk not out limit.
We can talk, sorry?
We can talk not out of limits.
Not out of limits?
I mean over of limit.
Over limit.
We can talk over limit, meaning we can talk about I'm not sure what Royale means when he says we can talk over limits, or do you mean, Royale, we can talk without being censored? We can talk without having limits? We can say anything we want? Is that what you mean?
Yes, we can say about the introduce, but don't violate of the limits.
So are you saying we can talk about a lot of things, but don't talk about uncomfortable topics like homosexuality? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so we can be free to talk about everything, but we are not allowed to talk about sexual uncomfortable topics, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay, Royale. For many people, like I said, when it comes to topics like homosexuality, sexual